URC Power Rankings, folks, for round number 11. Kind of these pop-up rounds that we get in the middle of the Six Nations. We don't have any URC action for a while, but some good games at the weekend. Seem pretty well attended. Some big results. But yeah, we'll go through the rankings and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Bottom of the old Power Rankings. Not quite bottom of the actual table, but still Zebre. They lost again. They played Munster and lost 45-29. So it's a kind of big old loss. Their record is still better than last year because they have a win and they have a draw, but they haven't won since, or not lost since I think round 5. So it's been a number of defeats on the trot. They did manage to score, I think, 4 tries, right? So there's at least some kind of encouraging signs for the Zebre boys, but yeah, ultimately they're at the bottom. The Sharks have somehow managed to escape bottom of the Power Rankings. I thought they would come out bottom, but not to be with their loss to the Lions. Bloody hell, 40 points to 10. What's going on with the Sharks? This is an awful season. I mean, they had Masuku starting at 10, got the first points of the game, 3-0, but that was about it for the Sharks in terms of their lead. The only try they scored was from turnover ball. So very, very, very troubling for the Sharks. Their roster is a lot better than what the results would show. So I don't know what's going on. The Scarlets are there in 14th. So it's the same as last week. No change for any of these 3 teams. Their record is still 2-9. They went to Galway. They lost 26-10. Nice to see Vaya Fafita set up a try. He still looks class. 19-10 down at halftime. No second half points for the Scarlets. It's been kind of a long time between drinks for them as well. Between anything, you know, hinting of a kind of positive result. And then there's the Dragons. They lost 44-26 away at Ulster. Their record is also 2-9. But their maul got going. So that's at least one thing that's pleasing. They managed to get themselves 4 tries, and from memory, they were all pretty close range jobbies. So, yes, bonus point at the death is at least something for the Dragons faithful to shout about. Welsh teams continue with Cardiff here in 12th. I watched their game against Leinster, and I thought they were pretty good, despite the fact that they got beaten at home 33 points to 20. It was a thoroughly entertaining game with a heap of line breaks, a heap of big carries and some skills, and great crowd in Cardiff. So really pleasing, easy on the eye game to watch. But Cardiff had no ball in the second half. So yes, they were good value in the first, defended stoutly in the second. But yeah, they didn't have much to shout about, sadly, in that second half. But still put up a good showing. The Lions, was kind of hoping you guys would move up this week. But no, you're still stuck there. None of these teams have moved in the power rankings. The Lions are still there in 11th spot. Despite that big win, it was over the lowly Sharks. So 5-6 is the Lions' record. They are approaching a kind of evens record in terms of their losses and wins. It's great to see Nohamba score against his former team. They secured a bonus point before halftime. Was it? I think so. Cross-kick to Frankie Horn at one point was a thing of beauty. So if the Lions play some entertaining rugby, they deserve a bigger crowd than what they get at Joburg for the entertainment they put on display. But who knows, if they get a few more wins under their belts, they might get that. One of the teams that is moving is the Stormers. The Stormers' win-loss record is only 1 better than the Lions. They are 6-5. They lost to the Bulls in what was one of the games of the weekend. No doubt 40 points to 22. Was still close early on in the second half, but the Maul defense looks to need a bit of work for the Stormers. So the Stormers' recent kind of winning record against the Bulls is over, and they are down 3 spots in the power rankings, which is a pretty tough one because the Bulls are a good side, but that's the way it's come out. And then Benetton, who I had high flying up in the first row just around Six Nations time, kind of plummeting like a stone, down 4 spots. Lost to Glasgow 19 points to 9, and some calamitous errors to start the game certainly cost them. They gifted Glasgow at least 2 tries from their own errors. So yeah, not a horrendous loss in terms of the points, but it's a home loss. And yeah, just disappointing, I guess, for the home crowd, which actually looked pretty decent. The Ospreys, the highest ranked of the Welsh side, their winning run, which I think was like 3 games in the URC, has come to an end. So they went to Edinburgh and lost 19 points to 15, which is a close game. And they looked to be pressing right at the death for a win, but couldn't quite get it done. They had a couple of close range tries to come back after they were looking seemingly a wee bit dead and buried. But yeah, 6-5 is their record. So they still are in the positive territory, only down 2 spots in the power rankings. They are kind of flying the flag for the Welsh regions thus far in the season. But as I said, Cardiff, I think, have been playing all right rugby as well. Munster are slowly climbing their way up the URC power rankings and the table itself with another win. Their record is in positive territory with 6 wins, 4 losses and a draw. Up 3 spots in the power rankings with their big win over Zebre. Great to see Mike Haley in some space. Achia Snyman doing his things with his offload and scoring a try. 33 points by halftime. So maybe they'll be a little bit disappointed they couldn't continue on that kind of stuff in the second half, but it'll be hard to complain too much about a win of that margin. Ulster, with all the dramas that have been going on there, settled things down on the pitch with a good win over the Dragons boys, like I mentioned, 49 points to 26. They had the bonus point by halftime. Mikey Lowry got a double. They won't be happy with the way the maul was going in terms of the defensive maul, but yeah, a bit of a good news story for the Ulster fans. So 7-4 is their record, up 3 in the power rankings. Hopefully more to come from them this season. And then Connacht, 5th spot for them, also up 3 spots in the power rankings with their win over the Scarlets boys. Nice early strike, seemed like a pretty nice day in Galway, didn't look to be too windy. 2 tries in the first 10 minutes. A little bit slowed down as the game went on, but yeah, pretty encouraging signs from them as well. So also their record is 7-4 after 11 rounds. No Scottish teams on the board yet. We correct that with Edinburgh securing 4th spot, which is the same as what I had them for the last power rankings. They had to hang on against the Ospreys, 19 points to 15. Good to see the Mish get a score. Bill Mata with the big offload and doing his thing, managed to hang on. But yeah, tough game for them. See if they can kind of go from potential, well, not like a pretender, but a potential contender to a proper contender as we get down to the business end of the season. Glasgow, likewise, managed to get a win. So 2 wins for the Scottish sides. Their win over Benetton did seem a little bit scrappy. Stafford McDowell seems to be in kind of crazy good form, which is really encouraging. Big, nice second half try from them. But yeah, away at Benetton this season, I think, has been tougher than other seasons, so they did pretty well to secure the points for that one. The Bulls, in what was probably the best attended game of the weekend, man, Loftus was absolutely cracking. Don't know how they have reinvigorated the crowds there in South Africa, but they are doing it phenomenally well. Joburg doesn't look that flash, like I mentioned, but yeah, certainly Loftus was really going off. 1 minute they got themselves on the board as well. The Maul looked pretty good. Caden Moody got a pretty nice try. The Pretoria faithful will be pretty chuffed with a 40 points to 22 win over their rivals, the Stormers, and a team which, you know, they hadn't beaten for a wee while. 8-3 is their record, same as Glasgow, same as Edinburgh. And then Leinster, the only team with a record better than 8-3, 9-2. 33 points to 20 winners over Cardiff, like I mentioned. First half, they were down. First half was a real battle, but they showed some class in the second to pull away from the Cardiff boys. The depth these guys have got is incredible, and they'll be looking to make the 3rd time the charm this season, but still plenty of time to go in that competition. You guys let us know your thoughts. When are the Sharks going to turn it around? Is anybody going to be able to knock off Leinster? We won't find out for any URC games for a wee while, kind of getting towards the tail end of March, until we get some games back in action. But that's how things sit in the power rankings for the minute. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.